You're in your 30s, you've got a decent job, you're not reckless with money, yet somehow when you look at your savings account, it's just not moving. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. By the time you reach 35 years old, you have already lost half of your most powerful wealth building years. The first 15 years of your working life are now gone, and most people don't realize this until it's too late. But building wealth in your 30s isn't all about having that six-figure salary or having that genius crypto moment. It's about a handful of decisions that you are probably getting wrong and avoiding 3 mistakes that we are going to talk about in today's video. Now, the good thing here is that there is one simple fix to all 3. Now, let's talk about the years that have already been and gone. If you started work when you was 18 years old and you're now at 30, that's 12 years of earnings that have passed by and 12 years of potential compound interest. As an example, let's say that you put away £200 a month from day one into the S&P 500, which historically returns around 10% a year. That, after those 12 years, would be roughly around £48,000. But most people in their 30s have absolutely nowhere near that amount. In fact, the average amount of savings for someone in the first half of their 30s is roughly around £5,000 to £10,000. And I do get it, because in your 20s you are busy paying off your student loan or saving up to get onto the property ladder or just surviving. But the good thing to know here is that it is not too late, even if you start investing in your 30s. In fact, if a 30-year-old was to start putting £300 a month into a similar kind of index fund, they would be reaching around £750,000 by the retirement age of 65. Personally, I don't think that's a bad amount for someone who started a little bit later than they would have liked. But to get yourself into this position, you need to be avoiding the 3 mistakes that we're going to get into now. Mistake number 1 is saving everything but investing nothing. I want to make it really clear that saving and investing are not the same thing. In the UK right now, with a pretty average savings account, you can expect something around 4% in interest, which definitely isn't too bad. But the thing is, it isn't going to remain at these levels indefinitely. Meanwhile, like we mentioned earlier, the S&P 500 has historically returned around 10% per year. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. But if you ride the wave, you ride the ups and downs, this is your average return. And yes, we know that 10% is a higher number than 4%, but how does this actually convert into real money? £300 a month into a savings account with a generous interest rate of 4.5% over a 30-year time frame would give somebody around £190,000, which isn't bad at all. However, that same £300 a month into an index fund returning 10% a year is going to compound into around £620,000. That is a £430,000 difference, and it's the same time frame, the same money, but a different investment vehicle. And before we move on to mistake number 2, I want you to comment down below. Let me know how long you have been investing for and what amount you are putting in each month. Everybody's on their own journey, everybody's running their own race. So if you drop that information in the comments down below, it might just give someone else the encouragement that they need to get started. All right, moving on to mistake number 2, and I hear this one all of the time. It's waiting to earn more money before getting started. I'll wait till I get that promotion, or I'll wait till I get that new job and then I'll start investing. But the problem here is something called lifestyle creep. Now, this is something that we've mentioned in previous videos, and we've seen it for ourselves in bank statement breakdowns. But essentially, lifestyle creep is when you start to earn more money, you start to spend more. We're talking about a car upgrade, maybe upgrading living arrangements, your house, your flat, whatever it may be. Simply put, you earn more, so you spend more, but your investments or savings stay the same. Even if you start by investing smaller amounts, laying those foundations is absolutely vital to your investment journey in the long run. I actually talked about this in a recent video titled, "Is it really worth investing £20 a month?" If you want to check that video out, I will put a link at the top of the screen right now, and the link will also be in the description. However, that does tie in nicely to mistake number 3, which is all about fear-based paralysis. What do I mean by this? Well, it's about when you see the news, that big scary headline, or you see rumors of a recession coming, maybe a new pandemic because your mate Dave lost 20 grand when COVID was going on. He panic sold at the bottom and told you how terrible investing was. So you just sit on the sidelines, you play it safe, and you keep the money in a cash ISA. And I can understand why. But let's just put this into perspective here. If you was to invest before the terrible recession, the credit crunch in 2008, into the S&P 500, you would be up over 300% today. Investing can be volatile. You are going to have to ride the ups and the downs. That is just part of it. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Time in the market beats timing the market. Now, luckily for you, there is one fix that basically rectifies all of these mistakes that so many people make. And it's a concept called paying yourself first. This basically means that when payday comes along, the first thing that you do before you spend any money or pay any bills is you put money into your investment account. Now, the best way to do this is to automate the process, because this makes you avoid any human emotions coming into play and affecting your decision making. Paying yourself first ensures that you are investing as well as saving at the same time. It also helps you avoid waiting until you're earning more. And the automation side of it ensures that you do not let your fear get in the way. So this one simple fix every payday is basically eliminating all 3 of the mistakes that we just spoken about. The tricky part for you is figuring out exactly what that amount looks like. And this is pretty much why I do the bank statement breakdown videos. Every Sunday I put a video out breaking down somebody's bank statement to see where they are wasting money, what changes they can make to their spending so they can then start investing that little bit more. Again, if you want to check these videos out, I'll leave the playlist down below in the description. And if you want to potentially be featured in one of these videos, then I will leave the Google form in the description as well. So you can fill out the information, we'll keep you anonymous, and we'll take a look at that bank statement and put it together in a video. How much money you can invest and how much money you want to invest are probably going to be 2 different things, and it may require a little bit of work to get there. But if you check out this table on the screen right now, specifically this right here, you'll be able to get an idea of what you need to do to reach your targets. And on a side note, another huge wealth killer that I believe is a big problem in the UK is car finance, specifically PCP deals. I did a video recently talking all about this because the average car payment every month is around £350 to £400. And yeah, I do get it, it is nice to be driving that brand new car, but is it really worth it when you see what it is costing you truly in the long run? If you want to take your investment portfolio that one step further, feel free to check out that video. It is a huge step, but the numbers are staggering. And it will be somewhere on the screen right now for you to click and go and check out.